All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for another deep dive. And this time we are tackling, well, California's trying to, anyway.
Trying to tackle AI.
Yeah, AI, or more specifically, like how to keep AI from,
Going rogue.
yeah, going rogue. Basically, how do we make sure the robots don't decide to,
Write us out of the script.
exactly. And we're not talking about like your Roomba deciding it wants to take over the kitchen. We're talking serious AI here.
We are indeed. For this deep dive, we're digging into California Senate Bill number 10047, the Safe and Secure Innovation for Frontier AI Models Act. Bit of a mouthful.
Just a tad, but catchy. So what's this bill all about?
Well, the bill itself is actually laser focused on a specific kind of AI. We're talking about the really big players, the
Yeah.
AI models, so massive and complex, they cost a small fortune to train. And by small fortune, I mean north of $100 million.
$100 million to teach a computer how to think.
That's the scale we're talking about. These aren't your everyday algorithms. This is next level AI, the kind that can analyze massive data sets in seconds, design incredibly intricate simulations, potentially even invent new technologies. It's exciting, but
A little terrifying too, right?
it's a tightrope.
Yeah.
And that's where SB-1047 comes in. See, the bill walks this line between like wanting to encourage innovation in this crazy fast-moving field.
Because let's face it, AI is kind of the Wild West right now.
Totally. But it also wants to make sure these, and I love this term, frontier AI models, don't turn into, well, a run-a-day train.
Okay, so less Terminator and more, what, guardrails?
Exactly. Think of it as preventing what the bill calls critical harm.
Critical harm. So, like, what does that actually mean in this context? Give us the examples.
So we're talking about scenarios where, say, AI is used to, I don't know, design a super virus or manipulate the stock market on a global scale.
Okay. Yeah, that's not great.
Or even, developing autonomous weapons that operate completely without human oversight. Stuff that could cause widespread, long-lasting damage.
So, less about robots taking over the world and more about making sure really powerful tools are used responsibly. Makes sense. But AI is also so advanced and it's changing so quickly. How do you even begin to regulate that? So how do we actually like rein in the AI? Does California have an AI ethics squad now or something going around making sure nobody's building a HAL 9000?
Not quite, not quite. But this bill, it does lay out some pretty concrete requirements for these companies that are, building these really powerful AI systems.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? Like,
Yeah.
what do they actually have to do?
Well, for starters, they have to hit the brakes a little. You know how the tech world is all about moving fast, breaking things?
Yeah, move fast and break things.
Yeah,
It's like the unofficial motto.
right. Well, with AI, this potent breaking things could mean some seriously bad news.
Yeah, no kidding. So how do you, like, force a whole industry to slow down and think about the consequences?
Well, SB 2047, it mandates that these companies, they have to create what are essentially AI safety protocols.
Okay, so, like, a detailed plan for what could go wrong.
Exactly. They have to look at their AI, every possible way it could go off the rails, and come up with a way to prevent that, or at least mitigate the damage.
So they can't just, like, cross their fingers and hope for the best.
Nope. It forces them to think about safety from day one. But then the question becomes, what happens if something does go wrong? You can't just, unplug it and plug it back in.
You're telling me there's an off switch for AI this complex?
That's the thing. The bill, it actually mandates a kill switch for every one of these frontier AI models.
A kill switch. I mean, I get it, but that's also kind of terrifying.
Absolutely. But think of it like, those emergency brakes they put on trains, just in case.
Okay, I guess I can see that. So they've got these protocols, they've got the kill switch, but companies aren't exactly known for following the rules all the time.
True, true. That's why the bill also mandates independent audits.
Oh, interesting. So like checks and balances on the AI itself.
Exactly. Every year, these companies, they have to bring in a third party, completely independent, to take a look at everything. The code, the protocols, the whole 9 yards.
So like an AI inspection.
Think of it that way. And get this, the bill actually gives the California Attorney General access to all of it.
Whoa, really? They can just like see everything.
Unredacted. No hiding behind trade secrets or proprietary information. It's about as transparent as it gets.
Wow. That's a pretty big deal, isn't it? I mean, can you imagine any other industry where the government gets that level of access? Okay, so we've got kill switches, we've got AI inspections, California's not messing around. But then this bill, it takes this whole other turn. It's like, I don't know, it's like California decided to dream even bigger.
Yeah, the Cal Compute thing, that's been turning some heads.
It has. And honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. So for those of us who haven't like memorized the entire bill, what is CalCompute?
So picture this. What if California just went ahead and built its own cloud computing platform, a big one, but like specifically for developing ethical AI?
Wait, hold on, back up. California wants to like get into the AI business themselves.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
But it's not about, creating the next Siri or something. It's about giving access to the little guys,
Hmm?
the researchers, the nonprofits, the startups who have amazing ideas for using AI for good, but they just don't have
The resources.
to build it.
Exactly. Training these massive AI models, it takes a ridiculous amount of computing power that, let's face it, most organizations just don't have.
So CalCompute would be what, like a public utility, but for ethical AI development. It's a cool way to think about it. And the bill, it lays out some pretty ambitious goals for it too, like using AI to address climate change, improve public health, make education more equitable.
So it's not just about like making sure AI doesn't go rogue. It's about actively steering it toward solving big problems.
Right. It's about democratizing access to this technology, making sure it benefits everyone, not just big tech.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but isn't there a reason nobody's done this before? It sounds, well, expensive.
Oh, it definitely comes with a hefty price tag. And the bill, it doesn't actually set aside the billions of dollars this thing would cost.
Ah, so the million-dollar question literally is how do you pay for it?
Exactly. The bill, it only goes as far as requiring a feasibility study by 2026.
So figure out if it's even possible first, and then figure out the money. Seems reasonable.
Right. Plus, even if they can swing the funding, there are a million other hurdles. The technical challenges, the potential for bureaucracy, not to mention the question of whether a government-run platform can really, truly foster innovation.
It's a gamble for sure, but maybe a gamble worth taking.
And the fact that California is even considering it, that says a lot about how seriously they're taking this whole AI thing.
Yeah, no kidding. So to recap, California is basically saying, hey, AI world, listen up. You want to play in our sandbox? Here are the rules. Kill switches, transparency, no more moving fast and breaking things. And then, just for kicks, they're like, oh, we might just build our own ethical AI platform too, just to show you how it's done.
It's definitely a bold move, and I think it really throws down the gauntlet for the rest of the world, don't you? If California can pull this off, even partially, who knows what kind of impact that could have.
It's a fascinating time to be paying attention to AI, that's for sure. So much is still up in the air, so many big questions still to be answered. But one thing's for certain, California just fired a shot heard around the world on this one.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens next.
Well, on that note, we'll leave you all to ponder the future of AI and what it might hold. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.